What a needle.
Oh, no,
Sick needle. I don't even think I would have picked up on that had you not laughed.
Wait, what was it? I don't get
He
it.
said this blackjack guy because he got it in with an 11. 7 and a 4.
Oh my God, that's good. Well, the thing that I'm wondering is Anton thinking, maybe I shouldn't be shoving there because I have no fold equity. If he's just snapping me off with 7-4, right? The threes, the whole thing is you want to make sure you can at least get it through.
I mean, I'm not sure how he lost, but like.
But I mean, it's twice now, so it must be.
Yeah. Now you're going to win it, probably.
Nice try, Ollie. Nice try.
Don't acknowledge it. Nice try. Do not acknowledge it.
Oh, Ollie.
The gamesmanship.
In before win.
What an incredible level this has been. What an amazing start to this final table.
Yeah.
Someone did that to you yesterday, huh? Someone did that to you yesterday, huh? It's time to get it back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Anton Wigg almost 10xing his stack since being left with 250,000 up to 2.1 million. And if he wasn't a fan favorite already, now he's an underdog.
Libovetsky opens with Jack-9. Mikhail Shalamov with ace-queen suited on the button. Re-raises. Action folded to Libovetsky.
I mean, if they've somehow caught up and seen that he flatted ace-king earlier.
I mean, Shalamov has a lot of moves, but has been playing pretty linear so far.
Libovetsky folds, and that takes us to hand 30 of the final table with 4 minutes on the clock until the end of this blind level and the first break of the day.
It's going to be interesting to see what your free bet from the big blind was against me. I reckon it might have been something like queens.
Only one away.
Yeah.
Even better.
Kings. Fucking hell.
Don't to bet anything less.
Had a really good hand.
Ace king suited, I call.
Yeah, he's not lying.
He's done it before.
I had ace 10 suited.
Well, it's a good hand to open, but
Yeah.
not against big blind free bet, I guess. Mine, especially.
Yeah.
That's cool that Bobby's got a customer and wanting to chat about this stuff right now.
Shalamov.
Welcome to Bobby's Buddies.
When I
Yeah.
started playing with chips, that was like 825, and it was like 7.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting much out of Vice.
No.
785.
How much I free bet?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
700, sorry. But when I saw you playing, I was like, here
That's
comes
why
something.
Vice was playing all his pots against
I just
Georges.
felt like it was coming straight away, and I was like, the one open hand I've had.
This is the hand Vice needed to have against Loftus when he had aces. So blind v blind, no raise.
But some pretty nice blind v blind hands.
Okay, so second pair for Vice, literally nothing for Loftus. So how many chips are going to go in here?
I would say 100,000 and a tight fold. 125. 150.
Who would be making a tight fold?
Well, it's not a tight fold, but just for Soloftus, Queen High might feel like a... I mean, he might just call still.
Oh, my goodness. I'm an idiot.
Well, you know, when your opponent just has 6-8 off and they would be betting here, you don't want to be folding it. Your queen could be live against something like a 10-2. I don't think it's crazy.
We can see the Vice is a 95% favorite here.
And Vice deciding between potentially charging something like hearts, or maybe a 3 would even call twice with the sticky reputation of Soloftis, but decides instead to play it a little more cautiously, recognizing that Soloftis also is going to have some check back aces pre-flop and is going to get a bluff.
What a grudge match.
From the Cyprian. How do we say it for some of the
Cypriot.
Cypriot?
Cypriot.
Yeah, but I like your version, Griffin.
Yeah, right?
Cyprician.
Somehow you own it and you get away with it.
Cyprussian.
Cyprussian?
So we do get a bluff from Soloftis on the turn. 250,000. Vice calls. This hand going to the river. 1.1 million in the middle. And it's trips now for Vice.
So good.
And this should be the last hand of the level and will vault Vice back into the chip lead. Question is he going to make somewhere between $500,000 and 1.5 million more?
I mean, the way this final table's gone so far, you might just end up shoving the river. I don't know.
There's no predicting any of this.
There we go. Near enough.
He's going to get
ballpark.
850 more.
850K. And quick call from Oliver Vice. And he gets a decent chunk of chips back from Georgios Soloftis. Vice now playing 13.3 million. And Soloftis drops below the 10 million mark.
In the words of the Bart Simpson cake, well, at least you tried.
What a level.
And that will bring this opening session to a close. I didn't realize we just ticked into the break. So Oliver Vice ends this session where he started it as chip leader. Not quite as big a chip leader as he once was, but has put some distance between himself and Georgios Soloftis. And when we come back, the blinds will be 60-120 with a 120K big blind ante. So more than 100 bigs for Vice, 80 for Soloftis, 45 big blinds for Shalimov, 41 for Bobby James. And then we've got the two shorter stacks, Lubavetsky with 24 bigs. Anton Wigg was down, but not out, and comes back with a very playable 17 big blinds. We resume the action here in Cyprus, the final table of the main event here from the PokerStars European Poker Tour.
We're giving every person here a chance to win a fantastic silver mass valued at €2,300.
Let's go, get the party started. You know how to get it going. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really feel like dynamite. Oh, I feel good. I feel so fine. I'm making moves and getting mine. And I need you to get in line. 'Cause if we're gonna make it, we'll make it right.
I'm delighted on behalf of PokerStars Casino to present you with the silver pass. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Alexei!
So we get a raise here from Tutsor to 900,000 with 6-3 suited, King 3 for Brandstrom. Worth a defend, Finton, with King High?
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that we're going to see him fold here. It'll be interesting to see if occasionally he wants to mix in a re-raise.
He does not mix in the re-raise, just a call. Hello, nurse. OMG.
Full house for Brandstrom. Trip threes for Tsutsor.
Brandstrom with such a lock on the board, he might be tempted not to check raise here, but we can see if he plays it quick, all of the chips are going to be going into the middle.
Here comes the C-bet. 700,000 into 2.2 million.
We're almost certainly going to see a complete stack reversal here.
You can only play this slow, right? You've just got so much of this, and it's so unlikely that your opponent does. What can you do?
Oh, come on.
Jeez.
It's now house over house.
The poker gods are bored today.
And look at this from Sutsor's perspective. He's just turned a boat and he's thinking, this is it. I'm going to close it out here. This is the moment that I'm going to win an EPT.
Does Brandstrom want to now start getting all the chips in on the turn? He might be tempted to continue to just call. It's going to look incredibly strong if he does check raise his turn. And we can see he has such a lock on the board. It's so hard for him to imagine that his opponent has a strong hand right now, except for maybe some flushes.
1.7 million into 3.6 million.
10 seconds.
You gotta just call again and go for value on the river, and you are gonna get it. Just put the 6 on the river too.
We are going to see the check raise all in, and we are going to see the snap call. Martin's going to think he's about to take the title, and he is going to get the news that he's been coolered.
So you think he checks here, Finton? Doesn't lead for value, but yes, he does check. Wow.
Yeah, the 10 of hearts on the river just doesn't change enough about the board. Brandstrom just has to go for the check raise, and this way he can hope, if he has coolered his opponent with another full house, or more likely with a flush, the check raise on the river means he'll get to play for all of the chips.
The nonchalant 6 million bet.
Into a pot of 7 million.
Such a sick hand to go down heads up.
Brandstrom's got 18 mil, give or take, behind. He could simply check raise all in here. We know he's going to get snap called, and we know he's going to get the full double up.
Yeah, he's about to have 40 million chips. From Sutsor's point of view, maybe occasionally he feels his opponent could check shove all in with a flush. It's heads up. There's just no way he's ever going to be able to fold this 6-3.
All in.
There's the shove. Checks his hand. Snap calls, thinks it's all over, but it is not.
Too excited. No.
House over house. Ridiculously sick cooler.
So sick.
And that is the big switcheroo. Simon Brandstrom is now the guy in control. He's got more than 100 big blinds.
Unlucky.
43 million chips. Martin Sutsor, 16 million, about 40 bigs.
The Brandstrom Sandstorm do-do-do-do double up.
Raises to 900,000. Pocket sixes for Brandstrom.
It's been a while since we've seen a flip. Is this likely to go in pre-flop, Fenton? Yeah, you think so?
I mean, the sixes are most certainly going to want to shove here, and I don't think you're going to get the full king-queen at this stack depth heads up.
10 seconds.
There's the all-in. And The call from Sutso, and we are flipping. A race for the EPT title.
Like the money versus the title. One of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
6 is ahead for now, and if 6 is hold, we have a winner.
I feel like Martin deserves a little bit of run good in this flip, given how the last 45 minutes has gone.
Well, if he does hit a king or a queen or some kind of straight combo, Finton, he'll still be at a significant disadvantage. It'll still be a better than 2-1 chip lead for Brandstrom. The flop is 9-7 deuce. No king, no queen. Sutso has 6 outs. The turn card is an ace, and Simon Brandstrom is on the verge of victory. Unless there is a king or a queen on the river, he will have won the biggest EPT main event of all time. The river card is a 5, and Brandstrom has done it. The Swede takes down the title here in Barcelona. And once again, for the second time in his poker career, Martin Sutso is a runner-up on the European Poker Tour.
Dumont with 9s in the big blind. 3-betting would just put him in a bit of a pickle. You don't really want to get involved in a big pot against the other big stack when there's 2 shorter stacks. You're out of position. Let's see the flop. Let's go from there.
Maria, it's called playing to win. 6, 7, 8 is the flop. Dumont has an overpair and a straight draw. Not too shabby. Zhang's got 2 overcards and a gut shot, also NTS.
And he's probably just going to knuckle, I think. I feel like... Oh, okay. I didn't know that it was Dumont's turn. So I thought Dumont had checked, and I was talking about Zhang, but okay. We saw that Dumont led earlier out of the big blind when Zhang had opened from under the gun. So,
and this is a relatively small bet, but I think is going to get the job done most of the time. I don't think there's a reason why the bet needs to be super huge on that flop. 2 of diamonds on the turn. Phil Razor tweets in with a very good point. So let me get this straight. Dumont is a driving instructor from France. He does not have the shape of head I would expect. I don't know if you remember the cone heads. We are from France. And that was their cover. They were driving instructors.
another value bet from Dumont on a safe turn.
Yeah, really safe turn. And the river is 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That straightenized for pocket nines. What a great run out for nines, huh?
I just want to know when Dumont started staring down his opponents when it's not their turn.
It didn't happen. This whole new demeanor happened once he became chip leader last night. He was like, wait a second. With great power comes great responsibility. I have a responsibility to stare down everybody all the time. Here comes the value bet that can never get called. Always the chance that Zhang loses his mind.
Yeah, but so far I feel like Zhang hasn't gotten very out of line post-flop. And I don't expect him to here, even with the 10 in his hand.
Nope. That is going to put some distance between Dumont and Zhang, however, the two chip leaders. Dumont over 10 million in chips now. Zhang opened this pot with his king 9. Dumont is 3-betting now to 1 million even. Zhang says, let's play.
First 3-bet we've seen heads up.
Another Jack X hand, another Jack high flop.
Dumont outflops Zhang. And interesting. He's gonna check it over.
700.
What do you do now, Maria? You've called a 3-bet pre-flop with this. You've pretty much whiffed. Do you call the over card and a backdoor 9-high flush draw?
Well, Zhang actually bet when checked to him, so unless it gets raised,
Oh, sorry, yes. He's the one
he
betting.
will
Interesting.
see the turn.
Yes, that question makes far less sense when Zhang's the one betting. Thank you. Now Zhang manages to pick up a gut shot.
And I think when your opponent 3-bets out of position pre and then checks to you on the flop, I don't think that's an auto bet just when your opponent checks. I think sometimes you have to think about the fact that your opponent will have traps.
It's a trap! May the 4th be with you.
And Zhang decided to slow down on the turn, seeing if he could hit some of his outs on the river. And sometimes I would want to see a check from Dumont just because, you know, the draw's missed. So maybe you could get your opponent to bluff their misdraw on the river.
1.9.
Because when they check back the turn, they do have some hands with showdown value, but they also have some draws that if checked to, they might try to bet.
Makes sense. And Zhang does let it go.
Hand 105 of this final table about to be dealt. So Dumont just calls on the button with queens. Zhang has a pocket pair, a smaller pocket pair, 6s.
I think he could go either way with the 6s.
650.
He is going to come in for a raise to 650,000. And again, it's probably a better decision to raise when that ante's in play because you're more incentivized to take down the pot pre-flop. There's more in the middle, more benefit to getting your opponent to fold.
Last level, they were just batting each other around a little bit here and there, but we did not see pair on pair.
You would think if Dumont is limping the queens, his intention would be to limp raise them.
Now, does this look suspicious to Zhang that Dumont has limp raised the button? 2.2 million is the size of his 3-bet.
I think it looks suspicious. And again, hole cards.
I would agree, though. We spoke about the ante being in play, that more often than not... Wow, he does think it's suspicious. He's all in.
Zhang shoves, snap call by Dumont.
He couldn't even get the words out of his mouth. That's how nervous he is about this situation. It was just
a huge all-in, and it's domination nation. The underpair for Zhang. Dumont, who is an 80% favorite here and has Zhang covered, could win EPT Monte Carlo right here, right now.
And we suggested that ante in play might make things go a little quicker here. They certainly have.
I don't think anyone suspected it would go this quick. Of course, there is that 19% chance that sixes win this.
And if that happens, Dumont will be left with 14 big blinds. But 4 times out of 5, Dumont will win this coup and win the title. Queen's holding on the flop. Zhang drawing to 2 outs. He needs a 6 to survive.
And the backdoor diamonds are all Dumont's.
The turn card is an 8, no additional outs. Zhang needs a 6 on the river. He must hit one of those 2 cards, or Nicolas Dumont is an EPT champion. It's over.
Congratulations.
Dumont takes the title.
Well done.
Of course, when they got heads up, Spraggy, Dumont seemed quite keen to look at the numbers, was open to discussing a deal. Zhang said, no, let's play for it.
Right, and a lot of people in the chat might be thinking, well, that's what you get. You don't take the deal, you end up second. But if he's confident in his ability, I think he's right to go with it, play it out. Pretty much a cooler, I think, heads up with the ante in play. You can't blame him for getting it in with the 6s. Just unfortunate to run into the queens.
So congratulations to Nicolas Dumont. He is now an EPT champion. He will bag the platinum pass. He'll lift the trophy. He gets the first prize of 712,000 euros. Welcome back to Cyprus and the PokerStars European Poker Tour. It's final table day. The main event is down to 6, playing down to a champion today here at the Merit Royal Diamond Hotel, Casino and Spa. We're coming back from the first break with the blinds going up to 60,000, 120,000 with a 120k big blind ante. Oliver Weiss still leads with more than 100 bigs. A very good opening session for Georgios Soloftas, up to 80 big blinds. Shalamov, James, around where they started the day, 5 million chips, 45, 41 big blinds respectively. Andrzej Lubavetsky playing around 25 big blinds. Anton Wigg, the low man, not as low as he once was. He was down to 2 big blinds at one point. He's coming back from break with 2.1 million, 17 big blinds. Should highlight that everyone has locked up a 6-figure score with 6 players remaining in this 5K EPT main event. Everyone is guaranteed at least 200 grand. And if you can survive, if you can outlast a player, you're guaranteed more than $250,000. That's right, next payout, 271,000. 353 grand for fourth, 459k for third, $642,000 for the runner-up, more than $1 million for the winner. It's James Hartigan alongside Nick Walsh.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
And we are joined by Sam Grafton.
Hey, boys and girls.
Well, guys, one important PSA is that the free roll is open for registration. Now, there was no free roll yesterday, and that means we've doubled the prize pool for today. $4,000 in Power Path tickets available in today's free roll, which is available in all shared liquidity markets except Belgium, Germany, and Sweden. The password you need to register for today's free roll is Vegas, because that's where we're going after Cyprus. NAPT Las Vegas, taking place November 1st through 10th. We're going to stream the last 2 days, and Vegas, all uppercase characters, is the password that will get you into today's free roll, so you can play for your share of $4,000 in Power Path tickets. So, an interesting, entertaining first session.
I heard they're playing some cards, James.
They are willing to play, and clearly, I think it's fair to say, Georgios Soloftas is playing 2007 era poker. He is playing for the win, Sam.
Love that, love that. And a bit of a dynamic over the days emerging between Ollie and Soloftus, you know, trading blows back and forth, slugging it out for the title, and everyone else keeping their head down, but everyone's still in the hunt.
It's the first hand of the new blind level. Action folded to chip leader Oliver Weiss on the button. Pocket nines.
5 raises, 240,000.
And he raises to 240,000. Obviously, Sam, we've talked a little bit about Ollie's result in Paris, winning the high roller there.
Oh my
and
days.
Yeah, obviously another big, huge result earlier this year as we see Soloftus 3-bet from the small blind with aces. Don't try to push him off aces again, Ollie. Ain't going to work.
Well, I mean, he bluffed him on a 9-high ball, so we'll see. Yeah, Ollie not going to do anything other than flat. I wouldn't imagine. Just a hand that can't be folded, not a hand that we can play for stacks at 73 big blinds. Positional advantage key as well. Makes it much more appetizing to flat. Ollie just going to be balancing timings.
Where I was going, Sam, is Ollie's online pedigree. Skill mode online. All the high-stakes regs know this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've played with him probably for a full decade. You know, plays all the games, Omaha as well. And yes, and this spells a little bit of trouble for Ollie. Also, depends how Soloftus plays his hand. A boardway's got to approach it a little bit carefully, but that's not, you know, everyone's style. They are so deep that, you know, when the gut shots come in, you've got to be a bit careful. So the sizing shouldn't be too huge here, in my opinion. But obviously, with the pressure, yeah, and he goes for third, maybe even a little bit bigger than this. And Ollie, with the overpair, it's very, very hard to fold here and now. We can just imagine all the Broadway cards, the ace-king, miss, etc., etc. It's nice that we can back into a straight as well.
Sam, do you think Weiss has a hand like 9-7 suited here, or is it just maybe like 9-10 suited? What kind of a, do you think 9-7's too wide to defend versus 3-bet here at the stacked
I mean,
depth?
you should never fold 9-10 suited. We know that.
Of course not, no.
And I do think, yeah, 6-7, 9-7, 6-5. This is why, you know, it's not so much that our aces are beat now, but we have to be a little bit careful. Because also there's turns where people we can begin to get bluffed. And you see, this is a turn Soloftus really doesn't want to see.
I kind of feel like I'm watching a rerun.
Yes. The difference here is that Weiss has some showdown. Soloftus will check over to Weiss. Pretty natural. You do have the ace-5 out of position. But in general, you've got the big overpairs and the Broadway hands. It's in position that has the sets here and the straights. And Weiss might want to bet to sort of protect his hand. He can get there in a very big way on a 5 or 10. And he can also fold out overcards, you know, folding someone off their equity. Yeah, and he just goes for a subtle sizing. A sizing he might bet 6 or 7. And what does Soloftus do now?
So this is 850 into 3.4 million.
Yeah, and there's 4.2 in the middle. Depending who's triumphant here will determine the chip lead, by the way. 1 and 2 on a final with a short stack in the form of Anton Wigg. Big river card.
It is a 4, pairing the board.
Yeah, Soloftus is going to be pleased to see that card just because we outdraw 6-7, 8-7, etc.
And it goes check, check. Aces are good.
Yeah, Weiss, a little frustrated. The 9s do show down for a decent amount there. So not a hand he wants to bluff. Can even be winning sometimes against A7, A6 type holding.
And confirmation that Georgios Soloftus is now chip leader with 12.3 million as Oliver Weiss drops down to 10.9 million.
Yeah, and you know, it's something I often touch on, James, and you'll notice as well, Nick. It's like the positions here at the final now are a little bit problematic for Ollie. Opening into a very determined, tough player who likes to battle, now covering you, that's going to sort of really slow you down. Ollie would much rather be on Soloftus's left, where him having the chip lead is much less effectual.
So Mikhail Shalamov opening here with ace-king, folded around to Anton Wigg in the small blind. He's got 10s, and this is going to be a classic race with fewer than 20 bigs. Wigg likely to get it in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Wigg gonna, he'd rather be against a button open, but the hand, just a very strong hand for 17 bigs. He can take a fold, he can take a flip, etc., etc. Yeah.
Makes the committing re-raise. Shalamov puts them all in. Anton calls it off, and we are off to the races. And Anton needs 10s to hold to avoid being the first player eliminated from this final table.
Obviously, we've mentioned it many times already, but this is a former EPT champion at risk. Obviously, a sort of headline name, perhaps the most experienced live tournament player at this final table. Will be eliminated 44% of the time.
If 10s hold, though, the comeback is real. Down to just 2 bigs at one stage. Can he continue to spin it up? The flop has an ace on it.
Always an ace on the desk, James. Always an ace on the desk.
Anton Wigg, now a 9-1 underdog.
Yeah, stoic.
Needs to spike a 10 on the river. He is drawing to 2 outs. The river card is an 8.
GG to Anton Wigg.
No double victory for Anton here in Cyprus. A 6th place finish, which is worth $208,720.
Yeah, and his legendary status in the MTT world is already well secured. Yet another deep run for Anton Wigg. More titles in his future, I don't doubt it. A real gentleman, a professional, and someone with impeccable pedigree at the poker table. Is the first elimination of the final day as they all pass the $250,000 mark, which is, it's huge from 5K. Some of these guys, even professionals, will be satellite winners. It's a real marquee score for everyone.
Everyone guaranteed 271,000. Mikhail Shalamov, by the way, now up to 7.5 million. 3rd in chips, playing more than 60 big blinds. And on to the next hand, which starts with Bobby James. He folds the 10-5.
Yeah, and it's significant for Shalamov, by the way. Going up to 61 big blinds, really separating yourself from Bobby and Andre. It's very significant flip to win for him as well. Also makes you a bit harder to be pressurized. Not like the covering stacks can just blast off, and put you under it when you got 61 bigs.
Shalamov calling in the big blind with ace-5 suited. And does flop the flush draw. Soloftus has paired his 8.
Yeah, it's a sick game, poker. You'd feel like there's more flops where just one person hits it and the other person has nothing. But, there's always a bit of back and forth.
Dragonburst watching on YouTube says, wait, how did Soloftus get so many chips? He was at 2 mil in the beginning, right? Well, they have been playing for the better part of 2 hours now, and things change.
Yeah, if you miss an entire series of Mad Men, things have moved on. Yeah, and Shalamov calling with the nut flush here. You have to be selective about what flush draws you check raise, particularly against the covering stack. And with the ace high dominating the other flush draws, content to just check call. The only downside is realizing equity if you face a second barrel. But with Soloftus having a pair, he just elects to check back. And I wonder if we get to bluff ace highs. Shalamov feels that he does with the 10 coming, 9, 6, 9, 10, 10 jack. 9 Jack, 9 6, all making it. So 6-5 would be a natural bluff. I don't know whether maybe just the lower flush draws does go for a decent sizing. And it does seem it's a...
Yeah, there's no way Loftus is folding this.
Hartigan. James Hartigan, he'd be a killer at EPT. He fancies it, doesn't he? He knows.
He knows.
You don't check back to fold.
Based on what I've been watching for the last couple of hours, this guy ain't folding.
Yeah, and it's nice.
My right hold's playing like the high roller still on the 2K.
We have a wife here. Just got this.
Yeah,
I had some, but they left as well.
Yeah,
mine's here somewhere. She just got me a tea.
It's interesting actually coming back from yesterday or whatever, and not having like that view and not seeing everything. So Loftus looking very relaxed and confident out there. You could sense, sometimes you could sense people's emotions as we get a slow-mo of Anton Wigg. Absolute treat.
I've always wanted to see someone taking a mic pack off in slow motion.
Will he take his shirt off? That's what the viewers want to know.
Yeah.
Come on, Anton, for the fans.
One more button. Oh, no, it's stuck in his pocket.
What a specimen.
There we go.
There's the hero shot.
Oh, wow.
Blue steel.
Blue steel indeed. That pout.
Wow.
Can I get a copy of this?
Mr. GQ.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Oh, that's too much.
Ladies and
Mamma
gentlemen,
mia.
that's why our stream is 18 plus.
I need that in GIF form. That's going. We got to use that on stream somewhere.
Yeah, and Andre with 9s on the button. Pretty legitimate 3-bet, I feel, from Shalamov here with the blocker. But this is quite a strong hand on the button.
I'm all in, Sam. I'm all in.
Yeah. Does seem like we're just so high in our range. No need to do anything fancy. Put it in, and if we're beat, we're beat. Frustrating for Shalamov.
So Lubavetsky now the shortest stack at this 5-handed final table, but playing around 30 big blinds.
I got to say, I actually fancy Andre a little bit. Obviously, he's flown under the radar. Sort of the vivacious personality of Bobby James, the huge chip lead of Ollie and Anton going for a second title, etc., etc. We haven't spoken too much about Andre. Very accomplished player. I believe he'll be perfectly happy with his spot at the table, ducking and diving. He's going to know exactly how to execute.
And just to recap the headline stats on Andrei Lubavetsky, in the top 10 on the Ukrainian all-time money list, 2 World Series of Poker bracelets, a W Coupe title, 3 Scoop titles, including a Sunday Million special edition, Andre Hansen being his online handle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there you go. It speaks for itself.
Here's Bobby James repping Team GB. Finds the fold.
Repping Watford.
Repping elevators everywhere.
Bobby the Elevator James. So Loftus has opened under the gun, and his nemesis, Oliver Weiss, calls out of the big blind. It's round 68 between these two.
Yes. I feel like it would make a great heads up. I think there wouldn't be a deal. That's the thing. It would be like, all right, winner takes all. Let's go. Could be the first one. We'd really get some viewers there, wouldn't we?
Is there a rule against that, James? They get heads up and they go, no, winner take all.
Yeah.
We fight, and we fight to the death.
We pull Toby Stone, and this is what you'll be playing for. 1.6 million. Second place gets a hoodie and a water bottle with the Stars logo on it.
And a firm handshake from James Hartigan.
Yeah, exactly. And the love of gamblers everywhere. And Ollie going to have lots of 6-7, 6-8s, etc. to bluff. King 10 doesn't seem like a hand where we want to apply pressure.
I mean, Sam, if you lost that, you could sell the movie rights for way more than 1.6 million, right? Exactly. Easily.
Got to think long game.
Long game. It's an easy hustle.
That's 200,000.
Deuces are still good.
Yeah, and it's a nice delayed c-bet. Not much visibility down the streets if you face a check call. So we'll delay the c-bet. The 5 looks good. No probe, and we just bet and win.
This is interesting, Sam. Definitely seeing a little bit more emotion from Vice today. Been pretty, like, stone cold. You were saying yesterday, James, kind of getting it quietly, right? Just kind of chipping up. But today so far has rocked him a little bit, I think. Definitely some really frustrating situations outside of his control, of course. Still a consummate professional as ever, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the end of days, you really get anchored to that position. You know, so many times you hear people say, oh, I was 2 of 80. You know, in EPT Barcelona on day 4, and I ended up getting 16th. And you really are bookmarked by where the days end. And so Ollie will have come into today thinking about how he's going to navigate a humongous chip lead, playing every hand. And now he's got to change gears. But I tell you what, I mean, I don't know Ollie super well, although I've known him a long time. He's played high stakes, mid stakes, low stakes. He's someone that loves the game, and he'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
He won't,
no.
You know.
It's not going to shake his game.
It's not going to shake his strategy.
Just sensing some frustration, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, I've really enjoyed watching him play. He seems ridiculously solid. Little spot here. This might be a 3-bet candidate.
Yeah, when we got a covering stack behind, he does just call, which makes sense with this particular holding. We don't want to get shoved on or... You know, we even get called by dominated hands. When we flat, we keep in the Jack-8s and the Queen-9 offs and such like.
Yeah, definitely a mix, but I think the flat's good.
It's frustrating to have the chip leader come in with 6-4, which eats into our equity a little bit.
Oh.
Hello, top pair versus an open-ended straight draw.
Sam, you know it's really frustrating when your opponent flops a straight draw.
Yes. I mean...
it's only frustrating if they get there.
Oh, you're right there.
Yeah, and Bobby will be aware that this sort of small blind range, a lot of pocket pairs, 5s through 8s, let's imagine 4s through 8s. He's not going to take a stab at it willy-nilly. I like this check from James. And some additional equity for Soloftus.
Sweat quitty.
Yeah, and Vice probably going to want to protect his hand, can get called by frustrators or not. Does play it in a more subtle manner and check.
Yeah, and actually that might inspire the 6-4 to start betting, Sam.
Yeah, I think if Ollie relinquishes the option to bet, we can bet the 6. Sometimes we have the best hand, pretty often, actually, the way it's played. And we've also got the backup straight draw. It's just a nice way to realize equity. And actually, if Ollie had bet, he might have even got raised here. So Loftus might have started turning his hand into a bluff. So check calling going to work out pretty well for Ollie. You know, also works well for the times we have a 5-4 or ace-5, having strong hands in the check calling range. What will the river be? Wow, gets there.
Wow, not the way we thought he was going to get there, but he got there. And with that sort of 4-card straight potential out there, are we going to find some folds on this river with the Queen Jack, Sam?
Yeah, Soloftus, I think, should value bet. There's no 2s really in Ollie's range, right? That's very key. Sometimes we run into 6-7 or 7s specifically, but, you know, there's only 2 combos of 6-7, let's say, and goes for a very subtle sizing, almost hoping...
This bloomin' river card.
Yeah, it's very hard to not pay off against this sizing. Ollie just considering, wouldn't a bluff go bigger?
Yeah, that's my exact thought, Sam. It just feels like if you were bluffing, this is a great spot to do so. Why would you not size up? This feels like you really are desperate for the call now. Oh, he's going to do it.
Yeah, roll of the eyes from Ollie Weiss.
Wait for it. I mean, this is now like 3 hands, and I honestly thought after that first hand, the big bluff where he got called by aces, that he kind of shook that off. The second time, 9s against aces, I think it was starting to eat at him. And now I think he is starting to get frustrated that he just cannot find an opportunity against this guy.
Yeah, he's pulling a Rory right now. This is how Rory looks when he's playing poker at all times.
Wow. Low blow comparing him to Rory. I mean, that's are we allowed to say that about people? You can't. Come on, Nick. That's an out and out attack.
I mean,
look at
just in gesture.
Look at this. Closer actually to Shalamov in chips than he is to Soloftus.
1 bullet.
Oh, Rory Jennings in the chat. Sorry, Rory.
Oh, we'd say it to his face. It's fine.
I know. I just didn't think he was going to be in chat. That's perfect. I love you, buddy. I say it with love.
I was here just to shoot some reels for pokergo site.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I'm still playing the tournament. Didn't make any content.
Yeah, big stack against short stack.
Huh?
Poker OK as well.
Yeah,
it's also a skin of.
It's skin of BG for Russian market.
Yeah, I thought so. We use backings.
For
skin.
In England?
Or in England.
Yeah, and Andre will check.
And it is a king high flop, but it's the open-ended straight draw for Lubovetsky.
Yeah, and Soloftus gonna immediately bet for some value. And, you know, it's a board he's gonna stab a lot and with a wide range of hands. Andre with the open-ender. So quite often the jack and 10 can be live here as well. We see they're not, but certainly gonna have to continue. And, you know, as we often do in position, it's mainly just in the form of call. Keep all the flexibility in our range.
8 on the turn. Soloftus now a 4-1 favourite. By the way, I've got a little EPT trivia question for you, Sam, after this hand.
Yeah, and Soloftus, with the 3 kicker, we can occasionally check this hand. Obviously, lots of draws out there, particularly the clubs, that we want to extract value from. But we'll continue to bet.
6 bets. 625,000.
So that's 625.
And it's a very confident sizing.
Over bets the pot.
Yeah, and let's see how Andre rates his hand. If I had to take a guess, I would imagine we still want to continue. We can outdraw any hand. It's not fun, but the positional advantage means that we do call, and Soloftus got to be a little bit concerned now.
River is a 7. Lubovetsky does not get that.
Yeah, and Soloftus has to decide now whether he wants to go for some kind of block against Queen X, or if he wants to check and reassess.
Yeah, Sam, I think this is one of the spots where a blocker bet starts to look a little bit fishy, though, right? Like, is that the size you would use if you were betting the nut flush draw and you got there on the river, right? I mean, perhaps you might have a sort of induced sizing for that reason.
Yeah, and he does bet 10%. And now Andre has to decide. Seems like too weak a hand to bluff catch versus 10%. So do we want to bluff? Here he would love to have the jack or 10 of clubs to control frequency and sort of negate the possibility of his opponent having a flush somewhat. And will just relinquish.
And Soloftus increases his chip lead. Now, he is a Cypriot player. He is a regular here at the Merit. There is the possibility that he wins this EPT on home soil. Sam, when was the last time that an EPT was won by a local? When was the last time an EPT main event was won by a player from that
Patrick
country?
Antonius, Monte Carlo.
Doesn't count.
Okay.
Also not a main event.
Yeah, that wasn't right. Okay, that's a good question, you know. Does Barney Boatman live in Paris? No.
No. And I'm talking about nationality rather than residency.
Of course. EPT London?
Correct. Ian Hamilton.
There we go. Sam Grafton.
Nice work, Sam. Very good.
Let me ask you a trivia question. Who's the all-time top of the money list at Merit Casino in Cyprus?
I have no idea. You probably do.
I don't know, but I think it might be me.
You suspect? Okay.
I'm just dropping in a brag there.
I was going to say, this isn't a trivia question. This is just
this is just a name drop.
A pathetically veiled brag.
No, but I was thinking about it. I think it is me.
Sam, trivia question. Who is the greatest person ever? Oh, it's me. That's right. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, but I think I might be. It's unlikely that anyone's won more than me. I feel like I should get a room upgrade on that balance, or at least they should have restocked the waters last night. Yesterday when I went out.
Britain's answer to Phil Hellmuth, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
Perfect. Trip to ends now for Shalamov.
Yeah, and it's a nice card because one of the straight outs would give him a boat. Sorry, Soloftus occasionally will make a straight and him a boat. But Soloftus now with the bottom end of the straight on a paired board. Might be that we want to just fold our hand here. I think he's even considering a raise, by the way. Is that correct?
That is a raise.
And by the way, it's often a sort of mechanic that when you have your worst hand you want to continue with, it's a hand that you turn into a bluff. The problem here is like the story doesn't make so much sense. Like maybe you check back 10-7 specifically or something like that, but it's chip leader, you don't really need to. And it's really worked out well here for Shalamov. He will continue with the call.
All the sickos calling for a 6.
Oh my
And
days.
we get it!
Wow, what an amazing river card.
Unbelievable, the straight versus a full house.
I mean, it is the 6 of diamonds, and this is why the raise, I think, gets us in some trouble. I think we want to raise with the top end of the straight. It's just a kind of unclean out, and a lot of players, some players might check back here. I don't think that is Soloftus' style.
525,000 into 2.88 million.
We're raising for value now, Sam, right? But what's your size here? What would you do in this scenario?
Yeah, you go big. You're super polo, right? I mean, this is a kind of not sure if bet in the sense that, you know, we normally don't get to go these small sizings in position for value. Maybe something's different when we're chip leader or on final tables when sizes get dampened. But yeah, we have to absolutely punish this with a big raise.
You thinking like 2.5 or are we just going to ship or something as crazy as that?
It's interesting. I don't think that we need to go as big as that under ICM. Again, sizings get sort of reduced somewhat.
1,750,000.
Yeah, and this is reasonable. And look at Soloftus. It's annoying. You know, he's gone for a fruity raise. He's hit almost the perfect river. And now where is he? You know, we don't interfere with boats, right? 8-7 would be a much better hand to call with. We don't interfere with flushes. It's not a particularly good bluff catcher. On the other hand, the small sizing, have we induced something funky from Jack 9? Oh, he's going to call. He's going to call.
And that is a huge pot for Mikhail Shalamov.
Yeah, and a grimace from our chip leader.
Well, he still has the chip lead, still has more than 100 bigs, but Shalamov is very close to Oliver Weiss in the rankings now, with close to 9 million chips.
In a way, it's not that consequential pot for Soflatis, but hugely consequential for Shalamov, who is now wielding a huge stack. What would often be the chip lead on a final table? 73 big blinds.
There's Mikhail's wife, Antonia.
Ah, that's lovely.
And I have some information for you, Sam, courtesy of Brandon. The Merit Diamond Money List.
Oh, let's go.
Would you like to know who's number 1?
Oh, it's gonna. Someone's got me beat, don't they?
Seth Davis.
Yeah. Oh God.
Would you like to know who's number 2?
Who?
Jason Kuhn.
No.
Would you like to know who's number 3?
Oh, no, I don't want to know.
You're number 3, Sam.
Jason and Seth. Wow. Good day at the office for those boys. Yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah, because they had a Triton afterwards, right? And Jason shipped to Seth. I'm surprised by, actually. I wonder what he won here. Oh, yeah, because they had Super High Roller Bowl here as well, right? Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, well. I'll take it top 3. I should still get my waters refilled. Who wanted to hear from Brandon? Suddenly, I can't get him on WhatsApp when I need a patch at table 41, seat 7. But suddenly he's missed the statistics.
Don't think it's that Brandon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Mate, that's too good.
All right.
Nowhere to be found, but he wants to out you immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I was trying so hard to get Brandon to do karaoke last night.
So, mano y mano. Shalamov, with not much of anything, but as the covering stack, you do want to apply pressure. You know, your opponent just has to play sort of honest. Goes for a bigger sizing as well, just trying to force things through. But with James having a pair, and now what do we want to do? We'd sort of rather have an overcard. We'd rather, you know, have a king little or something to be able to outdraw a queen in some manner. And check, check. Interesting river card.
Hold on, 9-10. He doesn't have a straight.
Yeah, I mean, 9-7 is sort of a kind of nut low in a way, in that we probably would barrel 4-5 or 5-3. I wonder if Shalamov goes for it again. Sort of attacking a 6x would be the way I might look at it. You know, you probably don't want to represent a flush without a club in hand. Shalamov, considering his options, and this is somewhat understandable.
On this straighty, flushy board, Mikhail Shalamov bets 900,000, over bets the pot.
Oh my days. And he is sort of representing a straight or flush. And we don't really interfere with those hands. Could be that king 6 with a club is, you know, Bobby's just going to pay, by the way.
Nice. And Shalamov mucks. And Bobby James receives the pot.
Yeah, good call there. I think blocking 8-9 is a consideration as well, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, but 8-9 barrels, right? The straight is like king 9 or...
Here's a question. How frequently do you think Shalamov bets a flush draw and then slows down on the turn, though, as well?
Exactly. It needs to be a flush draw with a 2
or
a king X flush draw or like a 6X flush draw.
I was going to say maybe an ace-high flush draw, but again, that feels quite barrel-worthy as well.
Yeah. It's a little bit, I think you have to employ a sort of subtler sizing, you know, as if you've got a jack, you know, or you've hit 2 pair with 10-6 or something. I mean, he would have probably got called as well there, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so easy to overbluff, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice call from Bobby James. Now sitting with about 47 big blinds.
Shalamov still third in chips, but has dropped down to 63 bigs.
5. 3 passes.
The elevator going up there.
And Vice, considering whether to call 7-6, I think connecting properties.
I don't want to play any more hands against this guy. I'm done. Yeah. That's what he's thinking.
On the tighter side, but I guess that would be almost the best hand that we'd fold is Ollie.
40 hands played at the final table. 1 elimination so far. Anton Wigg departed in 6th place for $208,720. The final 5 have all locked up, 271K, with more than $1 million up top for the winner. Action here will be on the shortest stack at the table, Andrei Lubovetsky. He folds. Shalamov's out. Bobby James on the button.
3 passes.
So blind v blind. You're going to have to play against him now, Ollie.
Yeah. And, you know, as professional as you are, it's funny when you are doing battle time and time again with the same person, literally taking dollars off each other.
I'm guessing you just have 8 or 9
And
in the last time.
Soloftas, with a hand that he can consider raising, decides to check.
Yeah, that's...
So blind v blind, unraised pot. We go to the flop, which is Ace-Jack 3.
It's one of those flops again, Sam, like kind of a texture that we might barrel quite often, small blind versus big blind.
I think this deep he's going to I mean, he's got the backup of the wheel, and maybe with the jack we just bet it pure, but I'd be tempted to check also.
The wheel.
Having discussions about
The wheel.
Just we don't want to build pots out of position. But yeah, it's fine. You can go either way. Might be better to bet ace-5 and check ace-6 and ace-7.
Right, yeah.
Congrats.
Story checks out.
You know, Ollie, it's a pretty technical spot, and also, of course, someone like Ollie. He doesn't strike me as a randomizer. That might be disrespectful because he's just an old school legend like me. Just like we like to just do things on the feel, on the game flow, on the ether. Not employing any of this looking at the clock nonsense.
Cameraception there.
Yeah.
Camera, filming a camera.
Wow, it's very postmodern.
Oh, it's just fantastic camera work, guys. Well done.
Christopher Nolan actually directing this episode of EPT Live. Just
you know, I think there's also an element, Sam. He just wanted to win a pot against Soloftas here.
Yeah.
He's like, just look. I need to break this cycle. This pattern is no good.
Let's put a bet in now where it's nice and clean before anything weird happens.
Get back on track.
So Shalamov is open with 7s. Soloftas in the small blind with Jack 10. Announces a re-raise.
I mean, he's really going for it. Like, taking offsuit blockers, you know, and 3-betting is really a sort of bit of a statement of intention here, because we can imagine so many other hands that we could play this way.
So when we're on the FT here with pretty serious ICM implications, Sam, you know, what does that do to the hands like pocket 7s and 3-bet pots? Are we still deep enough to be calling here?
I mean, I would have called with 61 bigs, to be honest.
Sure,
but
it seems like a lot, doesn't it?
We're not. It's not fun.
It's not good.
fun.
It's not a good situation unless you flop that set usually, right? Still a hand that needs playability post-flop though as well, right?
Yeah, I think we have to stick up for our raise there though, and you know, it's not. Again, we're deep enough where it's not like he just gets to blast off into us.
Yeah, I think the effective stack there kind of dictates that we're deep enough to still peel, but I can appreciate it doesn't feel good, does it?
Yeah. Shalamov, you know, electing to be a bit more cautious, and that's reasonable. Shows the efficacy of that 3-bet though. If we're getting 7s to fold.
Yeah.
240.
Profitable.
And Bobby James opening here with 10s. Should highlight that Andrei Lubovetsky's now playing fewer than 20 bigs. Folds 9-8 in the small blind, and Shalamov has folded the big blind.
Have you ever donned sunglasses at the table, Sam? That's not your style, is it?
Only when I was in my first couple of years of poker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do think it looks quite good though. Sometimes, like Anton Wigg's making it look good. Maybe.
Was this while the poker face was coming along in
Well, it's
development?
before I needed actual glasses. So, you know, actually,
you can get prescription lenses for sunglasses, right?
You know that actually it's a little embarrassing, but I used to wear fake glasses before I needed actual glasses, and I feel like it was a sort of biblical revenge where I was smited. My eyesight was smited for sort of imitating the afflicted. So so actually, once I needed glasses, it was great because I owned all these pairs of glasses. There's even a photo buried away on someone's Facebook page of me wearing glasses without lenses in them to a mustache bar in Dalston or something like this. It's thankfully buried in the annals of time. You know.
Shalamov completes in the small blind. And Bobby James checks his option.
Yeah, these guys, Shalamov electing to play pretty cooperatively. I think that's quite nice. Whether that's an adjustment to like Bobby's style of play or just because they're sort of similar stacks and the raise doesn't force out too many hands. Shalamov on that turn going to decide whether to protect the king high, and James checking back the 5-4.
Well, king high is
I'm
good.
playing the board, sir.
Wow, Bobby doesn't even think about bluffing.
That is Talk about money and cars, mate. Nah, you don't need none of that. Money helps, but
Where's the Loftus call home? I wonder. On the island.
So Loftus lives in Limassol.
Oh, nice.
Oh, not far.
Probably popping off over there these days.
9 races, 240,000.
And poor old Andre, who's found a couple of blockers to open, gonna run into Shalamov. It's a very legitimate open sort of blocking exactly these type of hands that are gonna 3-bet. And now James with the suited ace-10 will relinquish. Frustrating for Andre. See, it was 3-bet and found the shove with the 9s against the same opponent. King 10 not really with the properties we want to do anything fruity. Yeah, and there you see a little sight.
What might be a good candidate for like a little 4-bet fire back there, Sam? What kind of combination are we looking for?
I would just want an ace.
Just an ace?
Yes. The ace is the all-powerful card in these kind of confrontations. Ace-5 off, maybe. Something like that. I mean, actually, with 18 bigs, we just probably play jam with some suited aces. There's not much clicking or anything like that.
Right.
Or even folding. We just sort of make up our mind.
Absolutely.
And 7s
9 races, 240,000.
will get raised. 5-handed. I think we do have to play it.
Queens for Bobby James.
Wow. And this is unfortunate for Andre.
So he's got what, 14 bigs behind?
6-2-5.
Yeah, and look at the sizing. So small in a spot where Lubovetsky can't really play too many peels. What does he want to do with 7? Doesn't have any blocking properties towards top of range. Would we rather just put in an ace? And that's a very professional fold. The discipline, the mentality to not get frustrated there, really on display from Andre. Really, really nice.
Yeah,
He'll be annoyed about that, and relieved to see he's dodged a bullet there, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to level yourself there and just go, this guy's getting out of line again. I'm going to put this in. We're going to end it right now. But, yeah, nice fold.
I mean, sometimes people even lean into, I'm the shortest stack.
Yep.
You know, okay, I'm not facing much icy. I'm going to go for it. I don't want to fold and have 14 bigs.
Yep.
This guy can have all these bluffs. How nice would it be to pick up the 7 big blinds in the middle?
Yeah.
So that's, by the way, why it's not much of a fun open, because you don't really block the value or the bluffs, and you can't put it in over a 3-bet. So it doesn't even flop so well against the big blind.
So Loftus shoving small to big. Andre Lubovetsky is down to 12 big blinds now. And blinds are going to be going up in 45 minutes. We're halfway through this level.
Is that a stack of 500, by the way?
Yes, that's a stack of 500.
Thank you. Just
Okay. So reminder that once Cyprus wraps, we are going to Vegas, not just the NAPT, but a new season of the big game on tour being filmed in Vegas, and your chance to beat a loose cannon. You can qualify via one of our free-to-enter tournaments on October 30th, October 31st, or November 4th. If you qualify via those free rolls, you could earn an audition spot. We'll be casting loose cannons for the big game on tour, and at this point, we can announce another player who will actually be at the tables playing high-stakes cash in Vegas. Sam Grafton will be returning to the big game on tour.
Thank you.
Wait.
James,
Is that the number 3 Merit all-time money list?
yes, exactly. Jason Kuhn and Seth Davis weren't available, so we went for the third place on the all-time money list here in Cyprus. But yeah, that's going to be really, really exciting. I loved playing the first series of such an iconic TV show, so I'm really, really excited to be back. And one thing we know is that this is a format that always generates action and excitement.
I imagine over the course of the next couple of weeks in the run-up to the big game being filmed in Vegas, we will be announcing more names who'll be participating. But right now, you've got Gronk, Nick Wright, and Sam Grafton. What a trio.
Exactly, yeah. That's not Nick Wright, the famed PokerStars blogger. That's a different Nick Wright. Although, I would love to play poker with either one of them. Yeah, and Shalamov feeling pretty happy with this hand in the big blind. Really nice hand to defend. We can see that it's a hand which doesn't match up against pocket kings particularly well. Just 10% equity pre-flop. And this isn't really the board Weiss was looking for. Not quite as good a board for the big blind as it looks, just because some of the offsuit combos, low reach offsuit combos get folded. But
is this the texture where we size up, Sam, if we're in the cutoff here with the kings?
No, I was about to say, like, maybe even just check back. We can't ever play a hand for 3 streets.
Yikes.
Right? Or very rare.
Okay.
So therefore, we just sort of, we got to take out something somewhere. Why not take it out on the flop?
All right. Yeah.
And
I like
maybe
it.
and pays dividends.
Maybe they turn top pair with the second nut flush draw, something like that.
That's right. Top pair for Shalamov and a big old flush draw.
250 into 660.
Yeah, and I wonder if, I don't think Ollie will raise just because the board is so dynamic, but I wonder if he can seize on this sizing. I don't think that the 2 pairs or flushes go this size with what I've seen of Shalamov. And Ollie is a very smart, sharp card player. He might want to just raise now and charge 7-8. Doesn't. I think that's understandable.
Sure.
Let's just let it play out and maybe get some big value on the river. And now.
Wow.
Big value for Shalamov now.
Unbelievable run out.
Makes the flush.
Yeah, and Shalamov really delighted. Well, he probably felt like he has the best hand on the turn anyway. Will now go for more value. And Oliver Weiss's frustrating afternoon continues. Sizing, does he go?
I would love to see a blocker bet induce here, Sam.
What?
Just snap fold.
Oh, it was.
Just knew it.
It was that 250 into 1.1. I love it.
I feel like a fold that fast exemplifies the frustration you're talking about, Sam.
No, in another way, you could say it's just a guy that knows his opponent and ranges.
Of course, but, there was a little spice on that.
Yeah, Ollie definitely is someone that you can sense a little bit how he's feeling. But the main question that, I've heard experienced poker players say this before, it's not whether you feel the emotions or not, it's whether you let it affect your game. And some people are just happy to say I'm annoyed or I'm happy.
Playing live here and played on the phone and then the slider on GG, then I was squeezing 7-6 for infinite. Had to call the guy off. He had ace queen, I sucked him out.
Yeah, you see,
phrasing.
This is a guy who's played a lot of cards, played a lot of big stakes. Even cash games, big Omaha cash games. I would imagine.
How do you say his online handle?
I just say I think with the numbers, it's going for skill mode.
Skill mode, okay.
Skill mode. Just because that seems to be that's an online-y type name. Not luck mode or whatever. It's probably a gaming.
It's not Skitu LM for there.
No.
How's your PLO these days, Sam? How you feeling on the PLO streets?
It's another sort of daydream you have of I should learn PLO this year. Says every MTT reg to himself each and every year. You know what? I should learn.
I should study some PLO.
Yeah. It's would have been a good thing to do 15 years ago, you would be infinitely rich now and living in a mansion in Gothenburg just playing paddle every day. But sadly, that's not the path. You know, I've been very unsavvy as a poker player. I just like to play tournaments. I just like to get dealt 2 cards and try and beat 400 people. You know, that's what I really like to do. But my EV would have been a lot higher had I ducked and dived a bit more.
Sure. I mean, signed up for Max Payne, still committed to the cause. I love it.
I never played private games. I never played Omaha. I never got, Supernova Elite, or I never did anything smart, basically. I just played the big 22, and then I played the big 109, and then played the big 215, and then I played the Thursday Thrill, and eventually worked my way up to whatever.
I've seen some of the books you read. You're pretty smart.
Sure.
Some of the books he reads don't even have a picture on the cover.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
It's wild.
There's no picture on the cover.
No picture on the cover even.
He has many leather-bound books, and his apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Shalamov and Weiss going heads up to this flop. Jack 8-7, diamond.
Yeah. And this, see, about 40% of the time, it works every time. What's the
60% of the time it works every time.
60% of the time it works every time.
325,000, the continuation bet from Shalamov.
Weiss with the Queen of Diamonds just deciding, does he want to do something with that? The 6, 7, 8. Is this a hand that gets check raised? Nope. I believe. A little change of posture.
No, indeed.
Yeah, it's been a good day at the office for Shalamov. Really consolidated his position at this final table.
Yeah, he's done very well here. Now second in chips, loving life. Coming into this day, I was wondering if we were going to see our chip leader from yesterday just steamroll it, but it's really, really leveled out here. These guys are battling hard, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that Queen Jack bluff, big hero call. It's a big swing in chips, momentum, the positional advantage, shifting the chips to your left, makes a real difference. If you've got 2 evenly matched players, the one on the left will take chips from the other.
Yep, that's right.
His card. This card. My card flashed. Just deal again. It's okay. No one's looked anyway, so it doesn't matter. We can change the deck if you want.
TD Bobby James.
Sure. Assistant to the tournament director.
So I think Lubavetsky there claimed that a card was flashed.
The RFID cards are really hard to deal. Yeah. You have to really hold it.
So that was a misdeal.
If you hold it too tight. Yeah. He lost a finger.
So a little glitch in the matrix.
It's his finger, not mine. I don't care.
I like Shalamov. He's surrounded by 2 guys in sunglasses, hoodie, neckerchief. He's just there in beachwear. It just, could be going to an Iron Apple shot bar. After the day breaks, just relaxed.
Speaking of which, Sam, have you ever been to Iron Napa before?
No, I would. That was like the dream
Back
location when I was when I was a
that,
teenager.
Is that like the Tenerife?
Yeah, it's like it was really famous for UK garage. It's the capital of UK garage abroad. It was wow.
I sang you the song. Iron Napa, Iron Napa, Iron Napa.
The lads go in Napa. It was like big lads holiday, and.
Hey,
Soloftis.
the blackjack guy, 7-4 suited. Must be his lucky hand.
Yeah, I like this from Soloftis.
Double down.
You've been very patient in the big blind, not going after Ollie with folding the ace. Perhaps as a response to the frequency with which Soloftis has raised, definitely on the tighter side.
Not like Spanish guys say vamos. That's it.
But when they say when they keep saying "pame," it means let's go. It's the same thing as vamos. Pame.
Is that Greek?
Yeah.
Yeah, Greek.
Yeah.
Gonna learn some new words.
I'm hearing the same words.
Yeah, so you're gonna keep it in the mind.
Yeah, they can't say too much because I'll understand.
King 9 for Bobby James. Not going to play. Ollie.
Yeah, and Sloftus with another hand he could consider shoving. And a casual all-in from the Greek Cypriot. And Andre really on the wrong end of the distribution.
I'm there.
So many hands he could call off or open shove under the gun and just not getting dealt anything really apart from those 9s. I mean, a very good fold with the 7s a couple of orbits ago.
It's about an $80,000 jump between 5th and 4th here, guys. So this is a sweat indeed for all players involved.
I didn't bring my tea bags with me today, so I have to drink the Turkish tea. But it's actually quite nice.
Yeah, I don't like Turkish tea.
You like English tea?
I don't like tea. I like beer.
Perfect.
Me too.
Like vodka.
Unfortunately.
I don't like tea. I like
I said
beer.
to you last night when I saw you at the buffet, I was like, you should have a beer. And he was like, at least 2.
And Vice with a hand he can consider opening on the cutoff. Very cognizant of the chip leader on the button. He's going to play a lot of flats.
Did you have a beer last night?
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
I've been drinking the whole tournament.
Yeah, no.
Until the final table, I started when the game continued, like the last level. 250? Cool.
Yeah, and look at this now. What a change from the start of the day. Shalamov, the covering stack here.
To stop the 7th on final table.
It's a bit sensible, I think.
There's 2 evenly matched hands. See a flop.
A flop is 6-4 tray, 2 hearts.
Yeah, and once again, a flop that's a bit more favorable for the big blind. And Shalamov, as a result, no heart in hand, just going to lead right out. And it's a bet which targets exactly the type of holding that Oliver has.
And another sigh fold.
Yeah, big sighting as well, half pot almost.
Seems like everyone had their day. My day was day 3. Day 4 was bad.
My day is today.
Yes.
The best one.
You had yesterday? You had day 4? I had day 3? No, yeah. You had day 4. You came through as chip leader, right? Okay. 3, 4, and 5. Okay.
Can you change it, please? Sure.
Now it comes down to who wants it more, Joe.
Behind this tournament.
Me neither.
That's so often what it comes down to in
So often.
competition. Just who wants it more?
Sure. Often when I go and play roulette, I just... The casino just wants it a bit more than me. It's unfortunate.
I actually had I dated a professional poker player for a while, and she told me I wanted it too much. That's why I was never hitting any of my cards.
She was talking about poker or?
Poker, yeah. She's like, you wanted a little too much. Amongst other things, yes. I got it now. Sorry.
Vice with the 6-5 suited, and now Shalamov with a strong holding in the small blind. Does he want to play this through 3-bet or call is the question. Definitely a must VPIP hand. And Will Flat wants to keep in the weaker parts of Ollie's range.
And he will keep in the 6-5 suited as we go to the flop. Ace, king, tray, top pair for Shalamov.
Yeah, and Ollie with not much of anything. See, the hands we can bluff out very comfortably are the pocket pairs, but we do have a 6 and 5, sort of interfering with 6s and 5s. On the other hand, we have nothing to lose by betting. We'll decide whether to delay the bluff until turn or river. Obviously a board where he has the absolute nuttiest of hands over his opponent. Will fire out for 25, hoping just to get a fold from a hand like pocket eights, I believe. And Shalamov with the ace-jack, of course, will continue. And a 4 or 7 would be an interesting card.
Just trips for Shalamov.
Yeah, and a little bit, you know, this 6-5. Probably if we had a pocket pair like 4s ourselves would be that hand to go for it with. I don't know, 6-5. Do interfere with ace-6 suited, ace-5 suited. Is that enough? No. And I think that's a sort of sensible...
The vice flag?
Yeah, the vice flag, indeed. And Shalamov now going to be comfortable going for value, you would imagine.
It's like a polar sizing here, Sam, you think? Like, or given the action, we kind of want to try and size down.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is small, the block sizing. I think with the jack, we want to go a bit bigger than this. Ollie still going to have, by the way, ace-6 some of the time.
Yep. Some good king X, you know,
Yeah.
that could still find a call, especially if they're blocking a club, maybe king queen with a queen of clubs or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't bet the flop all too often, but,
Okay.
but yeah. It's, I mean, maybe just because we don't have any bluffs. You know, but I don't know. You can always pull something like you can always pull 7s with the club and just like turn that into a bluff on a 10.
Sure.
You know. Anyway, it's been the style of Shalamov to keep the sizings conservative. And by the way, that's a good place to start your final table strategy. Even if you're never going to have studied every specific spot, but just realizing sizings, you know, points of indifference come that bit earlier on final tables.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic anyway, Sam, because I think as we study, a lot of times we're always looking for balance. We always want to be balanced. That's what they're telling us. Like, you know, there's inflection points where you have to look at your opponent and go, how do I get max from this guy specifically, right? And sometimes that does mean we size down. And I'm not saying that's what we're seeing here, but just as a general topic of conversation, it is really interesting to know when to deviate in these situations.
Particularly on a 10, it's actually hard to find bluffs just because of the queen jack got there, the jack 10 got there,
right?
I mean, whatever it might be.
Speaking of jack 10, Bobby James has a spade and a diamond and is walking directly into the pocket jacks of Oliver Weiss.
Yeah, I mean, outdrawn a moment ago by king jack off, so we shall see what happens here. James, one presumes, has limped to limp call. We dominate a hand like jack 2, jack 3 that might try and win it here and now.
Oh boy, that was not
and
a limp call.
This is very unexpected. A very unusual play.
Limp re-raise.
With jack 10, sort of taking almost a sort of merged holding. Normally we would expect to be sort of polarized here. And what does Weiss want to do with jacks in position? 38 bigs. Seems like if we shove, we don't get called by too many worse hands. On the other hand, we don't want an overcard to flop, and we'll click it.
7-5.
Remarkable. And it's really weird to have jack 10 here. Normally, I would expect James to have a hand like ace 3 or like king 5 or something of that like.
Yeah, blockers.
Instead, jack 10 is one of the few holdings that might want to take a price and see a flop. I don't know. Obviously, we're offsuit, which isn't exciting, and we'll just release.
Sam, how do you think he behaves there? If we click it with jacks and then Bobby fires back, can we find folds there?
No, he's calling off.
I think you got to run it, right?
Yeah, he's just inducing. He's just trying to, okay, if we shove, we just get called by better or flips.
Yep.
If we click it, we get them to spew on occasion.
Yeah, little ace-5 suited, little artisanal sourdough spew.
Yeah.
And I say spew, still probably a very viable line, but that's what we're trying to induce, I imagine.
Yeah, really, really interesting. So, you know, I really expected a limp call there, but Bobby approaching things differently. Maybe something feeling like Ollie, maybe reading into Ollie's demeanor, thinks he's going to ISO too much there or whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to play out of position. Very interesting.
Playing in flow.
Over to the blinds.
Well, first decent sized pot we've seen Ollie take down in a while.
King Jack for Vice. I fear for him if Salufas has 6-5, 7-4, 8-3. Okay, this one adds up to 13. All good. It's a limp check. Ace 9-7, pair of sevens for Saloftas.
Yeah, and Ollie with a dominating King Jack. No need to bet. Too thin to protect. Obviously not a bluff. And Saloftas reaching for chips momentarily. Feels like you might want to bet this 7 on occasion as chip leader.
Bet he does.
And it's remarkable because if you could actually see Ollie's hand, this is exactly what you do. Just taking advantage of the fact that he's chip leader, and at this stack depth, Ollie's got to be very careful with chip leads. Happy with the fold, and can on occasion get called by worse, which is in fact what happens.
It's an interesting one, right, Sam? Because with the King Jack, we think we probably do actually have the best hand here a fair amount. But on this texture, also feels like if they're bluffing flop, they're going to continue on turns quite often, especially if they have a semi bluff of some variety, right?
Yeah, I mean, but we just can't fold the King Jack.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It seems good. It's just tricky projecting down the line, and obviously being out of position makes this a challenging spot. Ooh, and it's a 7 on the river.
Yeah, and here we see the benefits of betting all parts of your of the board, all parts of your range at some frequency. Ollie, again with a hand that doesn't function well as a bluff, but it's going to allow Saloftas to value bet his 7.
It's always coming 7.
700K.
75-150.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was just working out as well.
It would seem that Ollie doesn't have too many flushes in this line.
Structure-wise, I would say it's probably...
Ooh, did he say 750? 650, nice.
650,000.
Going for a shade under pot. And I do believe we have a pretty good bluff catcher here. See, we'd like a spade.